In the headline this morning, President Vladimir Putin backs the African Peace Initiative on Ukraine. Good morning, this is Addis News Hour. I'm Santayo Tamrat with the news. Stay tuned. Moroccan ambassador to Ethiopia, Nezha Alaoui Mohamdi, said Ethiopia and Morocco have been enjoying good relationships and fruitful cooperation since recent years. The ambassador noted that the bilateral cooperation between the two countries goes back to half a century. Speaking about the recently growing cooperation in the engagement of the private sector, she mentioned the two delegations representing the Moroccan banks that have visited Ethiopia in May and June. Regarding trade, she stated that the potential is very big in terms of complementing each other, and what the two countries need is to know each other on how to make it beneficial for both of them. She recalled the recent meeting of the foreign ministers of the two countries in Nairobi during the EU summit, regarding it as a further illustration of the will of the two countries to cement cooperation. President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, says Russia will remain a true friend of Africa in the face of diverse challenges. He made the remarks while exclusively addressing journalists drawn from African countries. Our staff reporter Shifa Rao has attended the event and sent us the following report.
The second Russia-Africa Summit Economic and Humanitarian Forum has been going on for 2 consecutive days here in St. Petersburg, one of the great cities of the Russian Federation, with leaders, heads of state, delegations, and representatives from virtually every country on the continent of Africa taking part in this 2-day event. A huge number of journalists have also been part of this great summit, covering the event in different formats. At the end of the summit, the Russian Federation President Vladimir Putin has taken some time to address the journalists when it comes to matters of mutual interests.
Naturally, we also plan to help African partners to strengthen their national healthcare systems, to improve their resilience, technical capacity, effectiveness, and efficiency in their fight against epidemics. For that, we are launching a large-scale aid program to African countries to fight communicable diseases till 2026, totaling 1.2 billion rubles. Once again, I'd like to highlight that Russia is sincerely trying to build truly strategic, multifaceted partnership with Africa, and we see the same sentiment to act together, hand in hand, reciprocated by our African friends. Thank you.
Also briefing journalists along with the Russian president, the president of the Union of the Comoros, also the chairperson of the African Union, Azali Assoumani, has stressed that Russia is a true friend of Africa that has stood by African nations in times of trouble.
I would like to mention the great ambience that has been put into place in order to make sure the summit is a success, and I would like to offer my congratulations to you, Mr. President, because all the decisions that you have taken, you've made, you're not going to regret them, because we have managed to secure great success, not just for the President of the Russian Federation, who has invited us, but also it is a success for African countries, because if Russia is the winner, then everyone is the winner. Starting from yesterday's evening, we've been engaged in discussions. We've spoken and have had conversations today. We have offered our thanks. We have spoken about the long-standing relations between our countries and Russia. They've been there for decades, and we know that it is during the most difficult times when you know who your true friends are. And Russia stood with us during the most difficult times, during the times of slavery or during the times of apartheid. Russia has always been helping us. It was one of the first countries to provide its help with fighting against colonialism, apartheid and slavery. So for many centuries we've had good relations.
A number of decisions have already been passed, all aimed at reinforcing the bilateral and multilateral ties between Russia and the continent of Africa. The fact that the Russian president has taken time to discuss issues of mutual interest with the journalists will have huge implications and huge message to get across. Reporting for EBC, Shifarao Lago from St. Petersburg, Russia.
A Chinese medical team has provided free medical care services for 300 people who work at Dukem Industrial Zone in Ethiopia. The Chinese embassy in Ethiopia organized the provision of medical services where more than 30 doctors and medical professionals treated the 300 factory workers. The medical team has provided medical services including surgery, neurology, dentistry, gynecology, internal diagnosis, and other medical treatments. Further medical examination and follow-up will be carried out to the beneficiaries at the Trunesh Beijing Hospital in Addis Ababa. The Chinese medical team has been providing similar medical services to Ethiopians in different hospitals, including various orphanage centers. The Dukem Industrial Zone, located about 35 kilometers southeast of the capital city, Addis Ababa, is where Ethiopia started industrial parks development, and Chinese investors are highly engaged in the industrial parks.
አንድ ሰው ቆርኪ ገደለ ሰው አንድ ሰው ገደለ እንደገደለ ነው እኛ አዋጅ ተሰጥቶ
ቆርኪዎች ቁጥር ከ70 በታች የነበረው አሁን ላይ ከ800 በላይ ቆርኪዎች አሉ።
Welcome back. You are watching Addis News Hour. And finally, Russian President Vladimir Putin has backed the African Peace Initiative on Ukraine. Speaking at the closing event of the Russia-Africa Forum in St. Petersburg, President Putin also praised China's effort at finding a solution to the conflict. The Russian leader also brushed away a question about why it will not be attending the BRICS Forum in South Africa in August, claiming that his presence at the summit is irrelevant, while making no mention of the arrest warrant issued against him by the International Criminal Court.
Aimed at my opinion can be the basis of some processes aimed at the search for peace, the same as others, such as, for example, the Chinese initiative. Yes, they do not claim that their initiative contradicts or competes with others. In general, the conversation was long and substantive. We probably talked for an hour and a half. Everyone spoke on this issue. I want to emphasize once again that it was from an absolutely friendly position, that it was a real search for some ways, some opportunities to somehow diffuse the situation.
A reminder of top stories. President Vladimir Putin backs the African Peace Initiative on Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching us and a blessed day.